True.
Like,
is it loud?
No, I don't hear anything anymore.
It was a vibration I was feeling, and now it's like, so I have no idea.
Yeah, I definitely like felt something too.
But we're gonna talk and then mute again anyway. So whatever it was.
I just was slightly like nudging my computer around to see. I don't know. Maybe.
I don't hear it now.
Hi.
Oh my gosh.
We're only, 41 minutes late, and that's all on me. So, just
it's good though.
Overslept from a nap, so here we are.
I literally just did a sprint like all by myself, so it's good because I just was sitting with myself muted.
I was worried I was going to be late because I was stuck in traffic on the way home. And then, of course, my internet kept kicking me out. So I'm doing Wi-Fi the first time. So we'll see if it works.
Oh, yeah. Well, how's everybody doing in the chat? I see we've got 4 people right now. I'm sure we'll get definitely at least a few more. But yeah, so this is a late night sprint.
When you said like you took a nap, I'm like, you mean you went to bed for the night? Because I'm like, it's almost 10 o'clock.
Right. No, I took a nap at a decent time, and then I don't know. I think my alarm must have gone off, and I just like shut it off, and then I just went back to sleep. So there it is.
That was a coping mechanism. Your body was like, we're not getting up yet.
Yeah.
Fair enough, but.
Oh, man.
What is everybody reading, right? What's everyone doing?
Sorry, I'm still doing technical things here.
Okay.
Well,
so I'm like, who's starting? I didn't want to.
I know. I was like, whatever. We're getting going. No, I'll go. I'm still
getting things ready.
I'm still reading Bloody, Slutty, and Pathetic. I'm 50% in, which is, get this, 570 pages is 50% in. Just saying. But this one's pretty good. This is obviously mostly a Dramini, but it does honestly pretty equally feature Pansy and Neville and Theo and Charlie. Like, they're the side pairings, but like, especially in the first half when Hermione's like resisting, we focus on the other relationships in it. So
ooh, I like all those pairings.
Me too. Charlie and Theo is doing things for me. I really like it.
And Pansy and Neville, I've read a couple of fics with that pairing.
Oh yeah. It's Dom Neville too, like quiet Dom Neville, who is like Pansy's the crazy one, and he's just like, oh, it's so hot. I'm just like, oh, I love it so much.
How long is that fic?
Well, I'm halfway through. It's almost 1,200 pages.
Whoa!
But it's not. I know, but somehow it's not 2,000 words because she uses big spaces too, so it is going fast. But it's literally 196,000 words. I thought it was over 200K. It is not. So.
Oh.
Dang it.
I know.
I would still count it.
I know.
Yeah.
I shouldn't. I shouldn't cheat at my own readathon though. But I know. It's worth it though. I wanted to read this one anyway. And I still need to read Zombie Apocalypse, which should cover the 300K one. So,
what about you, Mel? What have you been reading?
I just finished a Walking Dead one, which is Daryl and Rick. It was so good. It's like time travel, so like they all die in the future, but like it sets him back in time where he wakes up where. Like in the first episode in a coma, but he already lived like 10 years. So it starts from there. It's like a reset. So it's interesting. It's a really slow burn, like story driven.
I downloaded that one.
And it's super slow burn, but it's more like the story, but it's so good. It's like the little moments that make the story. But right now I'm gonna pick up Stranger Things fan fiction where it's called Steve's First Bruise. So it's like them in a Spider-Man setting. So Steve is Spider-Man, and Eddie's like his roommate, and he's trying to figure out like, wait, is he Spider-Man or like he always comes bruised? So it's like trying to figure out why he always comes back to the like apartment all bruised up, but it's like his undercover is he's Spider-Man, so he's Eddie trying to figure it out.
Gotcha. That sounds fun. What about you, Ashton?
I'm kind of reading the opposite ships of Jen, where it's mainly Pansville with a Hermione secondary. So it's called Revision. I'm only like 10% in, but the writing's really good. But at the beginning, Pansy is married to Draco and has pretty much like spent her entire life like training to be the Malfoy wife and being like the perfect woman for Draco and the purebloods and everything, only for him at the beginning to basically be like, I fell for a coworker who is Hermione Granger and now want a divorce. So that's been really interesting to see it from the other woman's point of view, like from the Slytherin woman, like looking at this chaotic Gryffindor, like really I did everything like right and you still got Draco. So now she's kind of trying to figure out her path, and she applied. Hogwarts needs a potions professor and head of Slytherin. So they agreed like to give her a probationary 1 year because they're a little hesitant since she was like on the Death Eater side during the war. And then Neville is, I believe, the herbology professor. So they're going to get together. So it's really good so far. I just got to where she just got to Hogwarts, but it's really good.
That sounds great.
I think I read that one.
It's really good. It's like 90K. So it's like not super long, but it's still like a novel. So.
Mm-hmm. What's that one called again?
Revision by Mama Gorgon.
Oh, okay.
I haven't read any Neville yet, and I like Pansy too, so that sounds interesting.
They're a really good like black cat golden retriever pair.
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yes. Amber, what about you?
I decided to do a Destiel, Dean and Castiel. I was starting it today, but work was just too crazy. I never got to it. So it's not too long, too. I think it's like less than 50,000. I think it, or maybe, I can't remember how long it was. But I'm hoping I'll just quickly read that tonight. I was planning on starting, I don't know, tonight or tomorrow, the Secrets and Masks, but that's like over 400,000. But they have a podfic on Spotify. So I was like, I'm going to try and do that because I have to clean the house all day. I'm like, I'm going to listen to that like, like most of the day tomorrow or something.
Yeah, that one I thought was pretty fantastic. It's, yeah, but it's longer than Manacled. So like,
yeah,
buckle up. But I
figure that'll be my goal for the rest of to for sure hit that one, you know, for the rest of the readathon. But I still want to get like a Snape one in, you know, I haven't done Snape yet. So, and I have a Lucius one I've downloaded. I've just gotten so many recommendations from you guys in the chat that I'm like, oh, I'm going to have so much to be able to have for like next year or just throughout the year. So it's nice to kind of get all your guys' recs.
Yeah, I still need to get into Snape and Lucius.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
they all sound really
you can have them both. You can have them both at once, Rachel. I have one of two of those. That's right.
Well, and I really liked Theo, and like I never read like Theo or anything, but he was like the side character in Isolation, and I was like, I loved him in it, and I was like, I want Theo, like I want Theo.
Theo, ones with Theo and or Blaze as the besties, I really love because they're just both characters I really like. But there's a few that are the, how do we even say that one? How do you say the?
Oh, Hermione.
Yeah. I've read Draco Hermione that I liked. I've read a couple of those too.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Theo's great.
I was trying to find podfics like on Spotify that were like Snape or something, but it's like all mostly Hermione. It's like all Hermione channels. I was like, oh, they don't really have a lot of other options. It's mostly Hermione.
Mm-hmm. The fandom has not shifted to those other
I believe there is a Hermione though, because I think one of my favorites has been done. I have to look it up. But I believe the one I really, really like has been done because one of the podfic people, she found that one and liked it, so she did it. That,
and if you want a
it's
really
Hermione.
long one, there's The Debt of Time with Sirius and Hermione.
Yeah.
Is that one on Spotify or is it from the AO3 or whatever?
It's AO3. It used to be in Spotify.
Do you have to download it like to your phone? Because like my phone never has enough space, so that's why I'm like, like I don't know if I. That's why I kind of was having to stick to the Spotify ones because, oh my god, my cat.
What I was doing was I was downloading like files to my phone and then using an app called Book Player. And you import the files to that app, so you should be able to then delete the files from your phone storage in a way. And yeah, I was able to like download like full audio fix that way.
What's it called, Rachel?
It's called Book Player.
Book Player. I'm gonna have to look at that.
Yeah. What did you start, Rachel? What are you reading?
I have just been reading some one-shots. And I have like, I don't know what my mood is tonight, but I have so many like different ones downloaded. Like I have some like Kate Sharma, Anthony Bridgerton, like AUs. I've got like Adian and Lysandra. I've got Manon and Dorian. I have like some Resand Feyre, a lot of just like AU stuff. So I just got to see what my mood is and start something. But I haven't been reading too much this week, so I'm excited to get some reading done this weekend for sure.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we can go ahead and get a sprint started then.
Oh, hi, Linda. I guess we do have someone watching us.
Yay! Yeah, we have.
Here.
We have 4 people so far. Linda is reading Scandal in Spring because we have our Wallflowers Readathon thing. Our live stream is Sunday. So.
Sorry, I had that in the back there. That hasn't happened in a long time.
Okay. So we're going to do a 40-minute sprint, and we'll see you guys in a little bit.
All right.
All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome back. How did everybody's sprint go?
Good.
Halfway through the fic.
Oh, wow. I think I read like 35 pages, which is probably the most I've read all week. So I'm proud of that.
Good. Yeah. Gotta love being productive.
Yeah, I'm getting sucked into Dean and Cass, you know? I like it. I think Mel gave me this one. The Psalm 442 or whatever, you know?
So good.
I've been watching Supernatural, like rewatching it for the millionth time again too, so it's just perfect for me to dive into that.
I'm just gonna type in the chat I've completely read one fic and then I just started another one, so I'm just gonna put the titles in the chat.
Yeah, mine's just plodding along. He's wearing her down. It's all good. This one is just, he's such a brat. And I love it.
Is it like a darker fic? Because I mean, obviously there's like a lot of blood stuff, but
it's not currently very dark. It's I mean, the triggers are there, yeah, because of that, but he's so, I don't know, it's almost kind of funny too. Because the humor between Draco, Theo, and Pansy whenever they're all together is really good. And then it's just like Hermione just like hates him so much in this one. And he's just, I mean, that's literally why it's called what it's called. He's such a slut for her. It's nuts. Like, he just wants her so bad. He wants her so bad. And like, the only way he's able to get her is because of a certain thing that she like needs. And so he's like, you have to sleep with me to get it. And he doesn't mean sleep with him the sex kind. He means you have to sleep with me to get it. Because he just wants to cuddle. Like, he's that kind of guy. He just wants to be around her all the time. So yeah, I'm halfway in and she's finally admitting that she wants more too, because there's of course not to give the whole thing away, but when they were put in the marriage pact in this one, they each have one of the black rings, like black family, you know what I mean? And it doesn't let them hurt the other person or cheat on the other person or like do any of these things, right? So she's told him like, don't touch me. But when he touches her, like it doesn't hurt him. Like the ring would hurt him if he was hurting her, because it will like, so yeah, after one of their encounters, she's like, I didn't want you to touch me. And he's like, you can't lie to me, because it would have bit, like the ring would have bit me if you didn't want me to touch you. So he's like, sorry, that's consent. He's like, if you didn't want me to, the ring wouldn't let me do it. So he's a little brat about it. He's like getting under her skin, but it's good. This Hermione's like, I mean, yes, she's uptight the way that Hermione is, but she also is just so like jaded more than in a lot of the other ones. And so that means like she's more hardened by the war than like some other ones are. So anyway.
Is there an audio for that one? Ooh. Is it on Spotify or?
I'm pretty sure, yeah. I think so.
Okay.
Because this one finished in like, when did this finish this year? It finished in April or May. And there was someone, I think, working on it before it was even done, because they like knew it was going to be good. So.
Oh, cool.
Pretty positive that one is up. So.
Maybe I'll try listening to that one then, because I did open it the other day, but the like extra spacing was kind of throwing off my eyes. So
it is.
I'm looking it up right now.
That's why, like I said, like a 200,000 word fic, which this isn't even, that should be like 700 pages.
Yeah.
Like, just be real. Like, that's what that normally works out to be.
Right.
But because this one's spaced so much, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's going really fast because of how spaced it is. but it's annoying that it's 1,100 pages, and like that's how long Manacled is on my Kindle, because that one is, you know, so, and that one's 330 or whatever. So anyway.
Yes, I just found an audio fic on Spotify.
Yeah.
Oh, it is on it? Oh, I'm going to look at it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I knew it was because originally I was going to listen to this one, so I was pretty positive it was there. But Podpics have just been tough for me personally lately because the quality can bother me, and I'm, you know,
yeah, that's fair.
Very happy they exist. I always say I'm very happy they exist, but especially how many like regular audiobooks I listen to every day with like Shane East reading it to me, it's tough.
Yeah, it's definitely a difference.
It is.
Well, and like
It
the
is.
one I listen to, it's like all female, like it's all the female doing it, and I'm like, I'd like some male narration.
I know.
Right, yeah.
But accessibility, I'm completely here for. But preference-wise, I can read as fast as I can listen, so I'm just gonna read it. But like, I still really love. Like, I wouldn't have made it through Measure of a Man or Isolation last year if I didn't have the audios.
Oh, I bet. Yeah.
Like Isolation, it really helped for that one.
Yeah, it helped me with it because it was kind of slow in the beginning. And then like the last half was like so much of like what happens in the books and like, but little differences, you know? So I felt like, oh, it's like kind of a replay on like stuff I already know. So
it's real depressing. Isolation's real depressing because, I mean, it's called isolation. That's what it is. There's so much long sadness, right? Whereas in some of these that are dark, they're dark, but like there's a lot going on. You know, like there's fighting happening and there's emotional stuff happening. And that one, it really kind of, it wears on you, which is very talented from the author of it because that's what it shows you. Tiff and I, buddy, read that one together and we talked about that a lot. Is like the atmosphere is very much written in there.
Yeah.
But,
like even the Snape stuff in it was like making, because, you know, I'm like, I cry like every time I watch like, you know, the final movie with like Snape and stuff. So it's like just revisiting that where I just like, I love it.
I've only been able to watch that once, and I don't know if I could do it.
It's weird because I have them like on my DVR. I own the movies, but like I have them on my DVR, and because I have to go to sleep to TV, like I have to sleep to sound, and I literally go to sleep to that movie like every night. So it's like, but it's like usually I sleep by the time they're hitting, you know, Gringotts or whatever. So if I'm past that, I'm having issues.
My friend in college like made me, because I'd watched all the rest, and she was like, we're sitting down. She was like, I'll watch it with you. And I was just as distraught. And Alan was still alive at that point too. And I was a sobbing mess. And when he passed away, I was like, I will never watch the last movie.
He's so good. Like he's just perfect. Like as Snape.
Since I've done a full watch through, literally like half the people have died now.
Right?
The last time
I think Malfoy's mom died too, like that real actress too.
Yeah, she died a while ago. Because I haven't watched.
She was so young.
I watched a couple of with my nieces last winter. Like they watch them constantly. My sister watches them constantly. Therefore, her little girls do too. But I haven't watched it since Michael Gambon's died, since Maggie Smith has died. Since like I haven't watched it since any of them. So I'm like, my friends and I were gonna start them. And I'm like, actually, I'm not emotionally ready right now.
Yeah.
Because it was hitting me. I looked at that list actually after Maggie Smith died. I looked at there was a list of 25. There's 25 people who died. And I was like, oh my gosh, I did not realize it. I know. 25 of them. Like,
I mean, granted, there was a lot of like older characters.
Because it's been 23 years. So, I mean, it makes sense. But it also just hits me that I'm like, it's been that long. And like, they're all like, like Maggie Smith is one of the oldest ones. And she just passed now. You know, the woman had cancer how many times. And she would, so anyway, so that one's going to be tough because I'm pretty sure that like, there's not many people left now. And I think I might cry a lot. So. But anyway.
Yeah,
Gorgeous all full of
I
sunshine.
ended up doing a rewatch because I read Tom Felton's memoir.
Yeah.
On SPAC. Highly recommend, by the way. It's a really great.
I was interested in that. I was interested.
I own
really
it, and I haven't read it, but it keeps staring at me.
It's really, really good. Really well done.
Yeah.
The audiobook is definitely the way to go. I usually go with audiobooks for memoirs.
Yeah.
Does he do his own audiobook for it?
Yeah.
Or that's cool.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. That's one of the best parts.
The only memoir that I've read where the author didn't do her own audio was Britney Spears, but I understand.
Yeah.
But Michelle Williams did a fantastic job.
Well, and I heard she did because I heard a snippet of it and it was like, wow, she even sounds like Britney when she was doing her voice. I was like, that sounds like Britney.
Yeah, she did a really great job with that.
Yep. Yeah, so that'll be difficult because it's been a while. And
they always play marathons of it all the time on because I have direct TV, and so it'll be on. I'm like, okay, so I watch it so much. I'm like,
especially October to December. I remember but especially they used to have on ABC Family used to do that. Netflix was only 3 of them out. They would do that when there was only 3 of them out, and they play them over and over. And I remember because that was before I had ever watched them as a kid, and it'd be on all day on Saturday, and I'd be like, come on, I don't want to watch this
again. I know my mom's like, do you watch that every time they come on? I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I'll tune in. Yeah. It's
a good background, why I like something that I've watched a million times while I read, in bed or whatever. It's usually something like that, or I put The Office on because I'll watch The Office a billion times. So I can put that on in the background so I don't have to focus on what I'm watching.
Yeah. At any given time, you can find an episode of Law and Order SVU that's on, an episode of one of the Harry Potter movies that's on, or what's the other one that always be? I feel like I don't know, Supernatural's one of them too. That one's always on.
I've been watching Modern Family again now because they've been playing that. And
they have been playing that a lot.
And so I've been going back to Modern Family, and I'm like, it's trippy when you see them grown up kids. You're like, oh, I watched them just even Game of Thrones, where I'm like, you see Sansa as a little girl, now she's this grown up woman. You're like, oh, I literally watched somebody grow up on a show.
Yeah.
Even Yellowstone, when the kids came back with all the breaks in between, which I'm so excited Yellowstone's coming back. But I was like, wait, that can't be the same kid that Beth took in for previous season. He was looked so much older. He was skinny, tall, and I'm like, what the heck?
Well, and Tate too. Both and and I'm like, oh shit, that's because you caught him right before puberty, and now it's been 4 years. Not 4 years.
They shoot up.
I mean, actually, since that kid was on the show, it has been 4 years. It hasn't been 4 years enough. But yeah, I'm scared. I'm scared to watch.
Yeah, I don't know what to expect. I'm
scared to watch.
But I was watching the marathon of that again. They're doing that again, and I was they were showing the clothes and all that stuff, and I'm like, ooh, I want some Beth shirts, and I started looking it up online. I'm like,
yeah. Oh yeah, I'm ready for it. I need some Beth bitch back in my life. So.
Yeah.
Is that HBO?
No.
Paramount. Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah. All the streaming.
But I got Paramount Plus just to stream it, and I think it was on Peacock.
Okay.
Because the other shows were on. But I have the network on cable or whatever. Paramount.
Oh.
It's also on Netflix right now. Netflix got.
Oh, cool.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't have Netflix anymore, but I know because they updated. Outlander has through season 6, and they also now have Yellowstone. So they have.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'll definitely have to.
Yeah, I use what is it? I actually just got a message about it. Is it called like Tubi or something? What is it called? Philo.
Oh,
Philo is what I use to watch it. Because I used to just buy it on Amazon. Like I'd buy the season, but you don't get to watch it when it's on. Same with like
yeah.
Outlander. If you don't subscribe, if you don't get access to the network, then you have to wait, and I don't want to wait. So
Right.
Unfortunately, where I live, like we can't like stream because of the internet issues and stuff. So I have to pay overpriced to have DirecTV. It's like either DirecTV or Dish. And so they can just keep increasing how much you pay every month. And I want HBO and I want all the things because I can't stream it. It's like, so it's like I have like all that package basically with DirecTV.
I just got my parents to switch to Fire Sticks. They have Fire Sticks now, which they up their internet and Fire Stick because that was what it was happening. Is we always had Dish, and like it priced my parents out to the point that it's cheaper to up the internet because that's the thing where my parents live. The internet costs so much money, but it was cheaper to do that and use because my dad's like me, like he watches YouTube all the time too. And then my mom likes to watch her soap operas still, and she can watch all that on YouTube too. It gets posted now, so
I know it's crazy what they can charge, and it's like we have no choice, you know. So I was like, oh, maybe we could, because certain satellite ones, they were like, it's basically the same internet as what you have with your Verizon, and we only get Verizon at where I live, so you can't use like anything else. And so it's like we were like, maybe my boss was like, look into that Elon Musk whatever like satellite thing company, but I don't know, like I don't know if it'll work, you know, or if it'll be worth the money, you know, like I don't know. But I'm paying like over $200 a month for like my TV. So like, and I'm paying separately for my like my internet through Verizon. So it's just a waste of money.
Yeah.
Right.
As someone who doesn't even own a TV, let alone cable, that's wild to me.
Yeah.
Well, I don't go anywhere or do anything. I read, I watch TV, you know, like I'm a homebody.
I use my laptop and then like mooch off my friend, like different friends let me use, like this one lets me use Netflix. The other one. I know. I'm like on my mom's Netflix. I'm like, I don't want to pay for that. And then she was like, I think I'm going to get rid of it. I'm like, no, I'm watching Supernatural right now.
Don't take that away from me.
Yeah. I pretty much only use YouTube, and I mean, I have Amazon Prime because I have Prime for how much I buy in there.
Yeah.
But like and then of course Yellowstone and Outlander are back within 2 weeks of each other. So I have to get both Stars and Philo for the next like how many months. And I'm like, really? These shows haven't been on for almost 2 years and now you're both back. I mean, come on.
Right.
So I have to pay for both of them, but it's okay. But yeah.
All right. Do we want to do another sprint?
Sure. Yeah.
Actually, I have
Rachel's all slipped up now.
I know. I'm like,
I work tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
Oh, she froze.
Did Mel freeze?
I think she did.
She was trying to say something.
I'm frozen.
Oh no, she's
back. She's unfrozen. Did somebody say something and I just missed it? I don't know.
I think, well, Mel was trying to say, I think she has to work overtime super early tomorrow morning. So I'm guessing.
Yeah, I think she was trying to tell us she had to get off, I think.
Oh, okay.
She's typing. Oh, we love you, Mel. Bye.
Love you, Mel.
Her internet is making her get off early right now.
I know.
Internet is
Okay, is it working now?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I have to call it a night because I have to wake up early tomorrow, like at 4 a.m.
Oh,
Yeah.
Get some sleep.
Okay.
Thanks for
Bye.
joining.
Hanging out. We love you. Bye. Oh, she typed it out.
So yeah, I'm just gonna do one more 40-minute sprint.
Yeah.
Cool.
Perfect.
All right, guys. We'll see y'all on the other side. right. How did that sprint go for everybody?
Good.
I'm like a quarter of the way into mine. So, and it's very slow. Like Pansy and Neville have barely interacted, but she's flirting with Harry a lot. Or I guess he's flirting with her. And the author even had to have a note at the beginning of the one chapter, like, this is a slow burn with Neville, but like newly divorced Pansy is also going to have some fun. So I don't know. I never considered those two together, but now I'm actually kind of curious about them.
Is that a longer one?
It's like 90K. My Kindle says it's like almost 400 pages. So not super short, but not as long as a fic could be.
Yeah, it's probably as long as like, I think you said it was 90K, right?
Yeah. So like
that's
a typical,
like a normal novel.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, most romance ones are like 80 to 100K.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. They stretch further these days because everybody makes their books longer now. But
yeah,
back in the day, those were like too short for me. Like anything under 200K, I considered too short. But now that it converts it to pages, I realize how long that
really
right? Yeah,
right?
That's true.
Yeah. I mean, I like it because I get stressed when I see the other weird numbers instead of just pages. I know that's strange, but what our brains do. I'd rather see 1,000 pages than it's to say 10,000. What does it say? Units or whatever, or
locations.
The location.
I don't understand what that means, but yeah. But back in the day when you read on the site, like it was just by chapter, so I never had any concept of how long any or what percentage I was at, or I just knew what chapter I was on. So I fixate now on the page and percentage, and I don't like that I do that. So
before mine, I would convert always. Like I was using a page converter to like count my pages. So this just makes my life easier. But I can see why it would, especially too, like when it doesn't move for like a long time.
Yeah.
Percentage, like, dear Lord, when I read This Thing Between Us, the percentages would not.
How long is that?
That one did have pages. 600,000 words.
Okay.
What?
The longest one, which I ended up DNFing it over halfway, and I was really mad, was like 900 and some thousand words. It's like the longest Hermione fic, and I ended up hating where it went. Like I loved it for a long time, and then it did something I hated, and I did DNF it, and it was like the most painful DNF ever. So.
Yeah,
those like intimidate me. Like I think I get too intimidated. Like, oh, am I going to take the time to really read that much? But and I was intimidated to do Manacle just because of that. I'm like, oh, I got all these other books to read, and then I read it like super fast, and I was hooked to it. So I was like, okay, I can't let those like push me away from it. But
I honestly think people seeing bound copies of Manacled has made it harder for people to want to start it.
Yeah.
I didn't even know to look at one before I read it. My friend Joe just said, read it. It's really long. Read it. And I didn't even, like, I had no concept that it was going to be like 900, 1,000 pages. I just knew that the percentage wasn't moving at all. But at a certain point, I was like, it's almost over? No, I can't be over yet. Once you get to a certain part, I'm like, this could go on forever. But yeah, This Thing Between Us, that took me 18 days to read that book, or fic, and
I think I saw somebody else post they read it too.
Yeah, someone from the Readathon read it.
But they started it months ago, I think.
Okay.
Well, she started it in October because I'm pretty positive it's I know who you're talking about. I forget what her real name is and what her screen name is. And she started it after I read it. She was like, "Oh my gosh, this one." And yeah, it took a long time. But I knew I was gonna like it too. I was waiting for that one to be done because she did updates on her Instagram, and the art was so good. So like I knew I was gonna like it, And so I was annoyed that it kept going and going because I started following her. I think it's like May or something, and she was only on like chapter 50, and I think it has like 117. So I kept waiting for it to be done, and she just kept next chapter, and I was like, come on. It just would not
Well, I know,
end
Jen,
at
you said
all.
you wait for them to be finished. Ashton, do you, because I know you've been reading them forever, do you like read them as they come out? Or, because that would be hard for me.
I think early on kind of learn the hard way when you read some work in progresses that are abandoned. But it does suck because like one of the most beautifully written Hermione's, like some of the best writing I've ever read is a work in progress that we actually don't even know what happened to the author. She was going through a really, really bad mental health time and wrote this really dark Hermione and then just disappeared over a decade ago, and everybody doesn't know what happened to her. So it just kind of stops abruptly, but it's so good. I've reread it like multiple times. So it's kind of like you have to decide if it's worth, like there are some that the fandom is like, this is worth not having a completed ending to experience it. But unless it comes very highly recommended, I don't usually take the chance unless it's. But I've been that author too, because it took me like 6 years to finish my long fic, and I took almost a 2-year break. And so, like, I was so grateful there were people giving it a chance because, like, their comments and messages kept me writing at some point. So I was glad they did that and didn't wait till it was over. So.
That's what's kind of cool is seeing like they're like, oh, thank you for all your comments. Like when you're reading them, you're like, oh, I want, like, because I read that when Winter Came with Fire and Blood. That was like the Game of Thrones one, and you could tell she was in it during like the end of the last season and angry like I was, and so she was like, it was like therapeutic for her, and just all her like little end notes. So I really like that, where they like, she's like, thank you for all your comments and all that kind of stuff. So
maybe next year we'll make one of the prompts start an unfinished fic.
Oh my god, that'd be like
board, babes. You get to build your own board. You don't have to pick that one. But
I was also thinking of prompt being like, leave at least one comment on each fic you finish. That's the one negative thing of downloading to Kindle is like, I know as an author, like comments are life. Like that's all you get as like payment. So now that people are downloading, you're not even getting the hits. People don't give kudos. Like go leave some kudos and comments.
I meant to do that one. I'm bummed. I was gonna ask which prompts people wanted, but because I waited so long, I was like, I don't want people's opinions. I'll just pick it because I waited so long. But
I was kind of bummed some of them are on Instagram. Like, not all of them are on Instagram or different things because you want to support them, like follow them there or whatever. But
people like being anonymous, though. That's part of it.
True. And Ashton, thanks for bringing that up because that's something that like I didn't even really think about. Like there are so many fics that I have enjoyed over the years that I've never left a comment on AO3. So like it's good to get that reminder to do that. And I agree with you, Amber. I do love those little notes at the end of chapters. Thanking people for comments.
Well,
and sometimes the author will be like, I wrote this chapter because blah, blah, blah. Like,
even if you click the kudos button, because actually we get as authors daily emails. So like every morning I get an email from AO3 if people left kudos on each of my fics. So even if you take the 5 seconds to hit the kudos button, they at least like know somebody still like read it today and liked it.
Yeah. That's cool.
Like, two things about one, I want to be better about leaving comments because where I was going to go with that is because there's a couple pages on Instagram that they will like monthly share like in progress fics that they're following, and I will always like I have one of my bookmark pages on because Amber, I know you're just a new like that you just got access to stuff, but once you have an account, you can make your playlist. You guys know what I mean, shelf. You can make a shelf. You can make a bookmark. And I bookmark the ones that aren't done because every month I check. Like the ones that are active, I check to see it's done. And something I want to be better about is even if I'm not read it, go to like the most current chapter and like leave some kind of like those are things so that I'm still encouraging them to write without starting it yet. Because I can't do it. I can't start. Like I found out, I think I told you guys this, right? I started Measure of a Man before it was done. But I then put it down because I did not know it wasn't done. Okay. Year later, Justin is trying to make me read Measure of a Man. I'm like, okay, fine. I'm reading it. I get to the end. I'm like, oh, I have 2% left, and the book wasn't done. And I'm like, what? What, did she lie to me? Well, no, I downloaded it 2 years ago. It wasn't there.
Yeah.
So, you know, she just read it earlier. So then I like go on there and there's another 9 chapters so I grabbed the phone because I was like, Metro Man is finished. I've seen people buying it. Like, it's just, well, it's because of me that I got it early. I had no clue because I didn't even check for that stuff before. I was sure that the box was checked, but I think I grabbed it off of like a recommendation, so I didn't check. But now I do. I search by finish, but I have a bookshelf or a bookmark of all the unfinished ones, and I like that's what happened with The Thing Between Us. I was waiting for it to be done, and then I have that one Daddy Kink one. I have that lady. She said how many chapters there will be, but she's like, I'll get to them whenever, and I'm like, this is why I don't start these because I can't take it. She's like, oh, I have to edit them before I post them, and I'm like, so it's done, and you're not going to share them with me? So I've been reading that one for literally 18 months because every like 3 months she'll put another chapter up, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, this is why I don't. So anyway, but yeah, we should make that a prom next year, like start an unfinished one or something.
And some of them write the whole thing and then, which kudos to them. I don't know how. My favorite author, Lowton, is like writing another huge fic, but she waits until her rough draft is completely done and then edit and post, right? Which that takes a strength to write the whole thing without like people giving you, like reading it and giving you feedback.
Yeah. But I also think it might be easier, especially if you're a more known fic writer, because in the same way, you know, you are a writer if you're writing fanfic. The same as if you're a regular writer, you probably wouldn't want fans reading your stuff as you go, unless you're, you know, people do it on Patreon. There's Patreon authors who write serially. I say this, Nevessa Allen, that's how she started. She did serialized writing on her blog. You could have access to it. It was before even Patreon was a thing. You could pay for access on her website. So there are working authors that do that, and it's the same with that. But yeah, like Jillian Eliza, her fic she finished before. So like The Gallows, she was writing that earlier this year and then posted it all within like 2 months. It like all dropped, and I appreciate that, because if there was an unfinished fic, I would start if I knew like a comic book, it was gonna come every week. Like I would do that.
Yeah.
But if it was an abandoned fic or just hanging, like I can't do it. I can't, especially when there's literally a billion others to pick from, right? That's why I'm a person that like I'll wait till it's done, you know. So anyway,
I always had like overwhelmed too, because I'm like, I try to search for something like a newbie at this, you know, I'm like, oh my God, like how do I narrow this down? How do I know which ones are like the really good ones? And so that's why I end up just going off of people's recs, because I'm like, oh my God, when I just looked up the Destiel thing, I was like, oh, there's so many.
I filter by kudos a lot because that means how many people liked it, which you can only do it twice. You can kudos something when you're logged in, and you could log out technically and give like an anonymous kudos, but you can't do it on like multiple chapters. It's just the story. So I see that as like this many people, like it's the most well liked of.
Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah.
That's a good idea. No, I mean, I do have like I break it down, Amber, by like length. Unless I'm looking for a one shot, I usually want at least 10,000 words, because sometimes I'll read a shorty, but especially for the tougher pairings to find, like Lucius and Hermione, if you search that by like 15,000 or more words, it drops it down. There's only like a couple hundred that are a full story, right? Or when I've looked up Ginny and Lucius, I think there was like 75 at one point, right? So it really drops it down for you if you start to do that. And, you know, if you pick completed fic and you pick, you know, them as the main couple, like it very quickly.
Yeah.
Exclude rating too, because I mean, I like smut in mine, so I usually exclude like teen not rated in general too.
Right. Yeah. That does help.
Yeah, I
forget to do that.
I saw that Winter Came one. Like I saw the Winter Came one on Mel's Instagram, because I was like looking through all her like found fics, which is like amazing. And then I saw the Game of Thrones one because I was trying to find something different than like Harry Potter. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. I'm just going to do it. And then she said, oh, let me know how it goes because I hadn't read it yet. So I thought she had already read it. And I was like, dang it. But I didn't even look. I just got it. And I didn't realize it was like teen and up or something. And so there was like no spice in it.
Yeah.
And it was over 200,000, you know, which it was okay. You know, I didn't have to have the smut, but like, you know, I wanted some John and Daenerys smut.
We're here for it. Come
That's
on.
when you can a one shot and pretend it's like a fanfic of the fanfic.
Mel's got me before too. I thought she'd read Bloody, Slutty, and Pathetic, and she just binds it so she can read the physical copy, which I mean I would do if I could find books. I would do, but I was like, oh, that one's done. She's printed it off, and then she was like,
yeah, she said she did it for a friend or something, and I'm like, dang it.
Yeah. But that's the tricky thing too about fanfic.net is like if there's any type of sex, it gets a mature basically. But that can be any level where at least I feel like on AO3 there's like both mature and explicit, and like mature you get some. I consider mature like the historical romance amount of smut usually, like it's a little more vague happening and everything. And then explicit still can mean anything. Like there's that one I read, there's only one scene in this huge fic, and I was like, I feel cheated by this rating. I read 150,000 words for one scene.
It really depends probably how the author picks it, because I don't think that's really like a clear thing in the
that would be like mature to me is what it would be. But although the Draco, the Phantom of the Opera one that was Draco's like the Phantom, that one was 100. That one I think was like 25,000 words. That one had one scene at the end, and I was kind of like, well, just label it mature. Then it's expectation game for me. It's not a demanding or something. That's what people don't get when I talk about regular books too. That's why I ever made a spice rating for them. It's not because there has to be there. It's an expectation. If in my mind I'm expecting it to be really crazy and there isn't anything, then I'm like, oh, well, my mind wasn't ready.
It's like I was waiting for it. Okay, so we're doing lots of fade to black because I didn't even look. I'm like, I just got it, and I was like, wait, like they're like fully together, and it's like I get the cuddle session afterwards or the after, and I'm like, oh,
it's like a YA.
This is not what I was expecting. It was really good though, but you know, I was like, okay.
Yeah.
I learned my lesson.
One of the recommendations I did, like one of my favorite Hermione's I read this year was Mature, and I still thought it was very sexy because the author wrote it real good, and that's what I think. Like, you can't always count on that with fanfic because we all know sometimes it's the best writing we've ever read in a fanfic, and sometimes it's like, this was a fanfic, good job. Like those are the ones where I'm like, you wrote a story, great, but it was hard to get through it. Like we all have read those ones where we're like, oh, this person doesn't know how to use quotation marks, or this person, you know. And I'm not judging. I haven't written this story. That's why I love it. And also because I'm a person who overlooks a lot, right? So if it's awkward, it has to be real. But I think that's a nuanced thing. Nuance doesn't always exist as well in that, because it's like, oh, I'm writing a smutty thing, so I got to go all the way. And it was that. Is it Second Chance? I don't know. It was the one accidental pregnancy one. That one was only rated mature, but it was so good. Like it was so sweet, and also Baby Scorpius is why. So I wasn't even there for the sex in that one. I was there for the Baby Draco. Those are two separate ones. Baby Draco, Baby Scorpius. I'm tired. I'm mixing up all of the names of everyone. But anyway, it's the one where he's a single dad, not the accidental pregnancy. He was a single dad of the baby. Scorpius is only like 2 months old, and it was adorable. He's like, doesn't know what he's doing. So, But anyway, this is fun. I love this.
Yeah. Well,
I think it's great.
I think I'm actually going to end it here. I didn't realize how late it was, but that's on me for starting it late. So here we are.
Oh my gosh, it is late.
But this was fun. I haven't done a reading sprint in a long time. Either participating or
I miss you so much. You're working so hard, girl. I see you. I see you doing it.
Yeah, it's a lot, especially like as we get into the holiday season, things ramp up a lot, both work-wise and otherwise, of course, with all the family gatherings and things. But yeah, so and my best friend is getting married next weekend, so like,
ooh, that's right.
Yeah, so tomorrow is her bachelorette party, and then next Saturday is the big day, so got that coming up, and then other things as well. So, but I'm glad that we could do this, and it's been a fun time just sneaking in some fics as I'm reading, other novels and
Amber, did you decide when you were doing one, Amber?
I was thinking about doing it tomorrow, but I'm not sure. It would be like later, and I didn't even say anything about it yet. So I'm like, should I put it off to the weekday, or I don't know.
I mean, I could join you tomorrow as long as it's after, because I have something at 6. But that's only 4 for you. Like I could join one at night if you do one, like in the evening like this or whatever. I can join.
Mm-hmm.
But otherwise, I just wanted to know when else you guys wanted one, because I will do one during the week. I'll do another one during the week sometime. I just haven't picked yet, but because we still have a whole other week.
I know. I know. I'm actually getting bigger ones done than I probably would have done previously. Like, because the last one I wanted to do manacled, but I'm like, oh, I'm probably not going to finish it. I had this idea that I wouldn't finish it. So,
yeah.
Oh,
I just saw Jesselyn's comment. Yeah, we're actually finishing up. You can start over from the beginning once we're.
Yeah. I read it to remind me, Jesselyn. It was great. I talked about it in the beginning. So.
And then I left comments for what I've been reading, having a good time as well.
Yeah.
And I'm reading Destiel, and I'm halfway through, but like it's pretty slow. I'm like, for being a short one, I'm like, can they start? I'm like, let's spice this up. But it's good. It's good.
And I'm reading a Pansville. That's a slow burn that I'm about a quarter of the way into.
Yeah, that one sounds really good.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna have to check that one out. All right, friends. Well,
thank you for hosting, Rachel.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks, Rachel.
Yeah. All right, guys. We'll see y'all in another reading sprint. We were just talking about when the next one will be, and we'll definitely post when all that's decided. But for now, I hope that everybody has a great rest of your Friday. Bye, everyone.
Bye.